Hey everyone, today we have the pleasure of hosting the exceptionally talented Erinn Hoyt, a celebrated photographer based in vibrant San Diego. Erinn is known for her stunning work in elopements, engagements, family, and maternity photography. With a vast experience and artistic vision, she's become a true expert in capturing life's special moments. Today, Erinn is trying out Polarr Next for the first time to see how she might be able to recreate her style and look that she's used to in Lightroom. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe as we dive into the exciting future of photo editing with Erinn. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a special guest, Erinn Hoyt, wedding photographer out here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Erinn, where you're from and what you do?
Hi, my name is Erinn. I am from San Diego, and I am a San Diego photographer. I do weddings, elopements, maternity, family, newborn, pretty much anything and everything you need photography-wise.
And how long have you been doing photography for? Like,
I have been doing photography since February of 2018.
February 2018. Wow.
Yeah.
And offering like everything, newborns, maternity, weddings, was there something that you specifically wanted, or you just kind of like got into everything and anything you could?
I definitely did not start out with weddings or elopements or anything that would qualify as like a very important day, because I was nervous. I was unsure of myself. And I've always had this notion, like, you can always get your family photos redone if you don't like them. You cannot redo your wedding photos. I still don't do super large weddings. I would classify myself as a micro wedding photographer, mainly elopement. But yeah, I definitely needed to. It's crazy to me that some people just like jump right into weddings. I definitely feel that that's probably not a smart move, and you should like, develop your craft, develop your editing style, develop your confidence, everything. You're just only going to get better over time. So.
Yeah, that's really good. When I got started with weddings, that was like super daunting for me, and I just wanted to make sure that when I started offering more and raising my prices, that like I had the experience to kind of back up what I was getting myself into. Because like what you beautifully illustrated, like your wedding happens once. I mean, for a lot of people, it happens once. But like for family photos, that it can happen like every 6 months, every year, or something like that. And people grow and change, but the wedding photos is timeless. I
get so many clients that I didn't do their weddings, but they say, as soon as somebody arrives for a shoot, I always ask them what their vision is and what they're trying to get out of this. And an answer is always like, well, we didn't like our wedding photos for blah, blah, blah reason. So it's actually very common that people don't like their wedding photos. And because of that, I feel that, you really do need to know what you're doing to enter that business. Yeah.
So interesting. Like, I think you're the first guest that I've had on that talks about like clients bringing up not liking their wedding photos. Like, what are the main reasons around that, would you say?
A few. One, they'll feel like it was too forced, too posed. The photographer didn't know how to capture them like in a candid moment or help them create those candid moments. They didn't like the editing. They felt like they didn't look their best. The angles weren't great. All of these, I believe, are things that come from an experienced photographer. Knowing angles, know how to make your clients comfortable, confident, and help create candid moments. And maybe they didn't review with their photographer beforehand, like what they're looking for. I always ask them what their vision is, as I said, what they're looking to get out of it. Do they like candid? Do they like to pose? What their style is? I ask all of that in advance so I can get a gist of their personality, their style. There's some families that just want to show up, smile for the camera, and leave. There's some families that want it to be really, documentary style, no looking at the camera, candid. So you need to know what works best for each family.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good advice for everyone out there. And like when I was starting out, like that's good advice for me to hear. with that being said, like, you know, film photography, if we go back like 20 plus years to film photography, editing, like, wasn't that involved, you know, like you as a photographer really worried about like lighting and then like posing and just making sure you nailed your shots. And then like the post processing, there wasn't a lot of that. And so like when you, I mean, there definitely was some, but I think nowadays it's much more involved. So like when clients come to you and say they don't like the editing style, like what are those reasons that people expect like a certain look or style, or like, I don't know, like
the one I get most common on not liking editing style is back when I started, I will say like 2018, and this was a trend, probably 2017 to 2019, was that super orange look. Everybody's photos were orange. They were like overly warm, super orange. They are not timeless. Okay. And that I would say is like the biggest complaint I get is like, we were all orange. Yeah. And I remember when I first started and like following all these photographers, and a lot of them, all of their stuff was orange. And I was like, this is like super beautiful, but it's like, it's trendy, right? It's not something that's timeless. So I try and edit in a timeless fashion, pretty true to color. Just something that'll, you know, be substantial over time. So I would say that the biggest complaint is people who got married around that time. And there's no blues, there's no greens in their photos. It's all orange. They're like, we got married in a forest and it's all orange. There's no green, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Like out here in Hawaii, I'm like telling my clients, your green lay is gonna be green, and uncle's tux, blue tux is gonna be blue. Yes, that's good. So, I mean, editing has evolved so much. I mean, like when I first started, I bought Visco presets, and I still have them to this day. I feel like they're just national treasures now, because they don't make them like, no. But like Maston Labs is like another big name out there that like I invested in. But there's like also so many, like you could go on Pinterest and download 100 free presets, and it's like so time consuming to find the one. So like, I want to know for you, Erinn, how did you develop your timeless look? Like, did you go through getting a bunch of presets and finding one, or did you develop your own? How did that happen?
I definitely, went through a bunch of different presets. And they were different. You know, I would try to look at what was trending, what the big photographers were using, and like go off of that. I'm not going to use their name, but I started with one preset that was like really advertising for families and kids. And it was, I used it a lot, but it's looking back, I'm like embarrassed that I used it. You know, it was not good at all. But in the moment, it's, you know, for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, they look great. And then I kind of evolved into using like local photographers presets.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I'm not really, you know, and then I kind of got not into those anymore. And now I use a pretty big name one, but I adjust it to my personal editing style, you know, so you know what you're going to get with me. But yeah, I do use probably one main preset pack and adjust it all to my editing style. And I feel that it has worked for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, like it's like very interesting to see how editing's come, and like how a lot of photographers have been able to benefit from that, create looks, create styles. And it's like crazy to think like, what's the next 20 years of photography gonna be like when it comes to not just the cameras and stuff, which Nikon just announced the Z6 III coming soon. Woke up to that this morning, pretty excited.
I have a Z6.
Yeah, I have a Z6 too.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'm ready for the Z6 III. I can't wait to see. Anyways, with like editing, you know, and that's what I try to think about when I'm editing my clients' photos, like what's going to be timeless, what's something that they're going to look back on that they're not going to regret. Yes. And, you know, currently there's a pretty fun trend. I don't know how you like it, but the in-camera movement and stuff, and camera shake, or like super blurry. I do like it.
I do like it.
Me too. Me too.
I think it gives it a vintage. I actually feel that it's timeless, because I think that it's like a vintage look. It gives it a film effect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I actually it was a vow renewal, and she like emailed me and was like, this photo's a little blurry. And I was like, that's the point of the photo.
Oh man, yeah. I was just editing some the other day, and I was like going through, and I'm like, oh, this photo got real, like the angle is off and it's blurry. I'm like, I'll just throw a preset on, heavy grain, fade.
Yeah.
Looks so good now.
Yes. Anytime I have that issue, I'm like black and white grain.
Yeah.
It looks like film art now.
Yeah, you can recycle those photos that you would normally just kind of toss or put off to the side. So fun. All right, cool. So we talked about like editing workflows. So obviously like working in Lightroom. Have you had experience working with any other photo editing programs?
Just Photoshop, but not, I don't do color adjustments in Photoshop. So no, I've always used Lightroom.
People who do color adjustments in Photoshop are a rare breed. I'm like, how do you do that? Like through hundreds and thousands, maybe not thousands, but hundreds. And they have their actions and things like that. But Lightroom is definitely the staple right now. Okay, so I reached out to you earlier and we got to chat a little bit about Polarr Next. So I just want to know, like, what were your initial impressions about it? Like, actually, let's strip it down. AI editing. So like AI editing, like what's been your experience with it so far?
I haven't used it a ton. I think it's obviously probably going to be like, the wave of the future. I haven't used it. I actually don't know where these people are like editing mountains and cows and things into the background of their photos. I don't know what app they're using for that. Honestly, I've been wondering. I don't know. So I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I think that it's something that I'll probably have to gain experience with because it is going to be, probably the wave of the future.
Yeah. I mean, Photoshop, they added in their generative fill, which has been like really nice when retouching and super easy. Like just circle a hand and this just disappeared or any distraction. But Lightroom introduced generative fill recently, and I got to play around with it. And the results were okay, probably not as good as Photoshop, but it's there in Lightroom now. And the ability to retouch things quicker. Because like that was the thing, right? Like Lightroom, edit, color everything, and then you move all your retouching to Photoshop. But having something to where you can reduce the amount of like Photoshop work and just stay in one app. Yeah. It's kind of nice. But it still produced some pretty funny results. That's for sure. I bet. I love the little trends where it's like when the bride and groom are walking down the aisle and then they'll trade everyone's phones for like holding puppies or something like that. Yeah. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't, but that sounds funny because I do hate, I hate somebody with a phone in my shot.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, I don't know, they're on TikTok or Instagram, whatever. And then like, they just change what they're holding their phones to like something else. Super funny. But okay, yeah. And then so with AI, we have a lot of different AI editing programs out there. Imagine, Aftershoot, a lot of ones that are like plugins to Lightroom, but Polarr Next is different. We are like our own, all-encompassing kind of app. We're not playing off of Lightroom and Photoshop, all-encompassing. So before we jump into it, like what was your experience chatting about Polarr Next with me and like exploring it a little bit?
It was good. I think you walked me through some of the editing process and you showed me edits that you made on some photos for you. Which was good. I definitely probably need more practice because it is a new app. But yeah. Okay.
Well, let me switch scenes here and we'll jump to your desktop.
Okay.
And there we go. I immediately, my eyes went down to the person in your search bar. Like, who's this?
Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
So you started, or actually walk us through like how you edited this. Did you use a new AI style or did you use a pre-trained?
I used your pre-trained. So I don't have all of them edited on here, but like this says, I believe I use Cider. Yeah.
And like, what was your impression of it? Or
I
off the
think it's
bat?
cool. I think it adds, think cider. Oh, right here. Maybe these are some of them that I went with. I think it's good. I think it gives it like a cool little vintage effect, but it still stays true to color.
Mm-hmm.
You can still see the greens and the blues, and yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, click that grid real quick. At the top toolbar, the little four square. Yeah, there we go. And so like
Yeah.
when I edit, like, and as it's processing, I like to kind of look and see if there's any that are like too dark or too bright. 'Cause sometimes like the AI will, not edit a photo properly, or, the thing is like trying to get consistent edits. So trying to find the ones that aren't like where you want. And so I'm curious, I want to see you kind of go through and like see if there's any in there that you would change or
Probably if we get down to,
Ooh, those
like
are
these
nice.
ones. Yeah. Okay. Like I was not a fan of this, whatever I used for it.
Okay.
Well, like even this, let's get on one where her eyes are not closed.
Yeah, I can kind of see here, like you
It's
see
like
five.
super green.
I can see that. Yeah.
I didn't like that. My colors are much more like contrast,
That file, I'm curious, 5082 to the right a little bit. 5082 right there. That one looks a little bit more. It's got, that other one had like -7 on the tint into the greens. This one's like at 10.
Yeah.
Is this one more of like your look that you're going to?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I want like, see, to me, this looks like it needs more contrast. It's like kind of dull.
Okay.
I would want it to be a little bit warmer to get the sun to pop in the back a little bit more, because I know the original, right? Like there is a bit of some color there. So, I mean, even this, I would not use it.
Okay. All right. Well, I would be curious. I would love to see you try to like get that result you're looking for. And then perhaps if we can mark it as a reference and then see if the AI would then be able to update the change.
Okay. So how do I, how do I get the photo to reset?
Okay. So you can, on your left side on the history panel.
Yeah.
Left side, it says original. All the way at the bottom. There you go. So you can click that and it'll bring you right back to your original raw. And then from there, you can adjust it to however you need it.
And this is these?
Yeah, so those right there, those are kind of like just secondary presets we have.
Okay. There were other ones that I used. Where were those? There was one called like cider, one called.
Oh, yes. So those ones, those are pre-trained styles. If you go to the top right and it says cider.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go use a different style.
So this
then use pre-trained right there.
This is what I was using for the other photos.
So when you do this, it'll edit the entire project.
Oh, you can't do one photo at a time.
With the pre-trained style, it will edit the whole project. What you could do is like edit your files with a look, and then you can like create a preset from there. And then you'll have that preset. So like when you edit files, then you can like individually change them.
Interesting. So you don't have somewhere where you can start from presets. You have to start from the beginning. Like, because I mean, in Lightroom, right? Like I always start with a preset and then I edit from there.
Yeah. So what you could do too is in that top right again, you can go to the drop down.
Well, I think they're all
use a different style. And then create a new style. and then do advanced setup. So this is where you can start off with your own look. So if you had any Lightroom presets you wanted to import into Polarr Next or anything like that, then you can start with that.
Oh, okay. So that is what I would do then if I were to edit from the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. So when you do this, it'll switch style and then it will choose a number of photos based off like the different lighting scenarios from that wedding. How many hours was that?
Maybe 4.
Nice.
It was like a pretty small one.
All right. So it chose 12 images for you to edit, and you can just click next on those little blue bubbles. All right. So then basically right here, all it's asking you is just to edit these 12. So like go through each one and then you would mark it as a reference.
Okay. So like this is obviously like a throwaway photo that I took, right? Mm-hmm. Do I still have to edit this even if it's a photo I would not use?
You do not have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to like this next one.
Okay.
Let's go to this one. This one looks like one. Yeah. So let's say here I would want my Lightroom preset. Mm-hmm. So would I upload that?
Yeah, you can. So you click that and then it will say import. The test is, do you know where they're saved?
Oh, no.
For real?
No, okay. I have no idea.
So what you could do is, let's see, you're on PC. Okay, so go ahead and full screen Lightroom. And then go to your preset on your preset panel.
No preset. So I used, I don't know which one, but I kind of will like add layers on here from this PS editorial. So should I just pick one or can I do all of them?
So export group and then just throw them on the desktop to make it very simple to find. I guess depending on how organized your desktop is.
I was going to say.
All right. And it seems like it exported. So, all right.
Okay.
All right. So my suggestion is look for one that you would use, and then we definitely need to adjust it. But once we find that preset, then you'll be able to adjust the colors and dial it in.
This is funny because this made it cold, and I know. Okay. It doesn't make it cold in
Lightroom.
Yeah, that's a very warm preset.
Can you demonstrate that real quick?
Let's reset this photo. And I clicked this one, right? That was the one that I chose.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even move the temperature.
The temperature.
Right? But that one made it cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is closer to how I want the photo.
Okay.
Like I would be, I'll probably up that a little bit.
There it is, a little bit more poppy now.
I would like this. Yeah, I like this.
Okay. So what you do from here, then just mark that as a reference.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's closer to how you'd want it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you just mark that one. Maybe go through a couple more and then get them marked, and then we'll see what happens when we hit finish. So one feature that's in Polarr Next, it's on by default, and you can definitely turn it off, is when you actually clicked to use that preset,
Yeah.
Polarr Next applied that preset across all the photos here already.
Oh, okay.
So that's what was happening after that second time. Everything was processing and kind of going slow. So
this looks like it took hold too.
Mm-hmm. This is good feedback though for our team.
Yeah, because I wonder why it doesn't have the same.
Does that say Del Mar Surf Station?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then whenever you get your edits dialed in, just hit the M key, or you can hit that toggle.
Okay.
And then do you cull in Lightroom as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we also added a flag system too. So if you wanted to cull, you can definitely do that. So real fast before we finish the AI style, hit that suggested filter at the bottom. There you go. And so now you have the ability to kind of scroll through your images and then like edit different ones that you would also want to mark as a reference. Polarr Next, when you import images, it will suggest out of the images you basically import into it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like selecting, oh yeah, I know Erinn wants to deliver this or whatever. It's just different lighting scenarios. So in your case, since you cull in Lightroom, or if like you would cull in here, then like going through these images manually and then selecting the ones you want to mark as a reference or train the AI on, that would be more beneficial for you.
Okay.
So ideally it's asking for 12, but for example's sake, let's go ahead and hit finish AI setup and see what happens.
Where is that? Oh, right here.
At the top. Yeah, there you go. So it's gonna tell you like it's gonna be suboptimal, but the more that you train it, the better the results will be. Mm-hmm. And so now it's starting to process everything. There you go. You can start seeing it populate. Go ahead and click that one right there, the 4977. And what you can do is you can already start adjusting things as you go. And if you feel like you like it and you like what the AI did, then you can leave it, or you can make adjustments to it and then mark it as a reference. And then that will just continue to train the AI.
Okay. Cool.
And it will update as you go. So like even if you did like a little minor adjustment here.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then press M or mark as reference again, you'll see the AI will then like update.
Cool.
There it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's like closer to your style?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what you could do too here is like, say like this is the look you want. And if you're going to shoot another Del Mar Surf Station wedding again, you can go to the top right where it says Erinn's AI style. And then you can rename it to like Del Mar Surf Station. So that like when you import your next project, you use that Del Mar Surf Station style. And like this is where like the differences between like presets and style come in, because like as you know, like presets is like your base that you like to start at. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do with Polarr Next and the AI is that like again, you know, your Del Mar Surf Stations a lot of times are going to be the same look, like the same sunset and colors and stuff. So you don't necessarily have to start off with a preset anymore. You can edit your entire project with your style that has been trained with, you know, over time with however many reference photos that you've marked. Okay. And the more that you do it, the better that it gets, the more accurate it gets. Yeah. So what you could do is, again, is go to that grid at the top toolbar. There you go. And then, and then just kind of go through it real quick and then just see like the job it did. You only trained this on 4 images, which is like, you know, it was asking for 12, but you trained it on 4. But is it definitely something that's like,
yeah, that's very cool.
To start with? Yeah. Nice. And then let's try go to the top, because so right here, that's like during the sunset. I'm curious to see like what the results would be these indoor photos that you had marked here.
Yes.
Right? Because definitely different lighting situation. All right. Well, thank you so much for your patience and like working through this. It's definitely a fun like crash course with it. And I'm sure once we're off the stream and like the recording, I'm hoping Polarr Next is a lot faster and quicker because
I don't know. I think maybe it's because I'm streaming. Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
All right. Let me switch us back to this side by side.
Okay.
Okay. Let me hear your thoughts real quick. How was it? What was it like using it and achieving your style?
It was good. You know, I do like that I only had to train 4 photos, and it did seem to like get a pretty good, you know, idea of my style. And yeah, I think that that's cool. I think that, you know, with anything, like it'll get better over time and it'll probably be really easy and simple and time efficient.
Yeah. And I like that we went through this because, you know, a lot of photographers, you know, when they get started, they don't know like where their presets are and like all these things that sometimes can be a little bit confusing. So I'm glad we got to show that process of being able to like, this is how you export, this is how you import. And then if at all, there's also an option when you're doing that, there's a request a conversion. So if you wanted to send that XMP or that style over, you know, then we are able to like fully convert it. And that's going to be good feedback for us too, because interesting as to why it moved the white balance as well.
Yeah.
This is like what it did in Lightroom. Yeah. So with everything having gone through, like what would be like your overall, like what you're looking forward to with Polarr Next? Like what one thing do you feel like you want to see addressed when it comes to like the future of photo editing with like AI and stuff?
Anything that would make culling easier would be great. And then, time, because culling is like a lot of time. So like anything that, you know, gives us more time.
That's good. Getting our time back for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to follow with email too, because we just introduced like the flagging system too. So now you're able to hit P for flag, U for unflag, and then X reject.
Yeah.
And then the option to be able to delete photos within there. So like you can just, if you have throwaway ones, you just want to delete real quick, you have the option to do that.
Yep.
Awesome. So Erinn, any final thoughts or anything before we close?
No, thank you for taking the time to walk me through all of that.
Absolutely. And thanks for, you know, agreeing to come on video with me today and have this conversation and check out Polarr Next. Awesome. And for everyone else, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you check out the other videos we've got on this channel. Erinn, it's great to see you, and hopefully we'll check in with you on the future and see how you like Polarr Next.
Can't wait.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us today as we explored Polarr Next with the exceptionally talented Erinn Hoyt. It was amazing to see how Polarr Next allowed her to recreate the style and look she's perfected in Lightroom. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Stay tuned as we continue to dive into the exciting future of photo editing with more videos coming your way.